When the weather turns wet and, the lighter in your pocket is out of fuel, most people just give up on starting a fire. But the men and women of the past didn't have that luxury, and they had to rely on techniques that worked no matter the conditions. One method, practiced long before disposable lighters and gas stoves, has proven itself time and again, even in backyards today. This is the kind of knowledge that doesn't just belong in history books, it belongs in your hands, because it gives you the ability to create fire when modern tools fail. So stick with this for the next few minutes, and you'll walk away with a skill that makes you more independent, more resilient, and more connected to survival wisdom that has stood the test of time. The trick relied on steel, stone, and charred cloth. Before matches became common in every household, the most reliable fire-starting kit was the flint and steel. Soldiers, pioneers, and everyday people carried it because it worked in any weather and never ran out of fuel. The heart of the method was simple. Strike a sharp piece of stone against high-carbon steel, producing sparks. Those sparks landed on a piece of char cloth, a fabric deliberately charred in a tin to make it catch fire instantly from the smallest ember. Once the char cloth glowed, it could be placed into a nest of dry fibres, things like shredded bark, grass, or hemp rope teased apart. With gentle breath, the ember spread until the whole bundle ignited, and then sticks could be added to grow the fire. This was so dependable that people relied on it for centuries. Even in the rain, as long as the char cloth was kept dry, a fire could be coaxed into life. Matches are convenient, but they are fragile. A sudden downpour, a gust of wind, or damp conditions render them useless. Flint and steel combined with char cloth does not fail in the same way. Steel does not wear out quickly, and a single piece can last for years. Stones can be found almost anywhere, though flint, chert or quartz work best. And char cloth can be made endlessly from scraps of cotton fabric or old denim. This means that instead of depending on a consumable supply, you're working with tools that can be reused again and again. During the Second World War, resistance fighters and survivalists in Europe often carried a small flint and steel kit hidden in their gear because it was silent, reliable, and independent of manufactured matches that might not always be available. The same holds true today. If you master this method, you'll never be fully dependent on modern conveniences. One of the reasons this method is so effective is the char cloth itself. To create it, all you need is natural cotton fabric, a small metal tin with a tight lid, and a fire source to cook it. Cut the cloth into squares and place them in the tin. Then punch a tiny hole in the lid. Place the tin in a fire for several minutes until smoke stops escaping. When cooled, the fabric inside should be blackened but still intact. This cloth will catch even the smallest spark. Store it in a waterproof container, and you now have tinder that never fails. Soldiers in the past often carried a tin of char cloth because it gave them a guaranteed way to make fire, even when other materials were too damp or scarce. By making your own, you're recreating one of the most reliable survival tools of the pre-match era. To use this backyard trick, hold your flint in one hand and your steel striker in the other. Place a piece of char cloth on the edge of the flint, then strike downward with the steel at an angle. A spark should leap onto the char cloth, causing it to glow. Once you see that faint red ember, place the cloth into your prepared tinder nest. Cup your hands around it and blow steadily, feeding oxygen into the fibres. As the glow spreads, the bundle will smoke and then burst into flame. At that moment, add your kindling and begin building your fire. With practice, the entire process takes only minutes, and it works in conditions where matches would have snapped, fizzled, or gone to waste. The value of this trick is not only in its reliability, but in the independence it gives you. In your backyard, it becomes a skill-building exercise, but in a real survival scenario, it could mean the difference between warmth and cold, between cooking food or going hungry. Even if you never need it in an emergency, the discipline of mastering it connects you to the same knowledge that kept soldiers, frontiersmen and explorers alive. If you were ever without matches or lighters, during a power outage, a camping trip gone wrong, or in the aftermath of a storm, this technique would still work. You can teach it to your children, practice it on your own, and keep the materials ready in a small kit. It is one of those timeless skills that never loses its relevance, no matter how advanced technology becomes. What history teaches us is that convenience is fragile, but skill endures. Matches made life easier, but they never replaced the older, more resilient methods. Flint, steel, and char cloth remain one of the most reliable ways to create fire, and for the survivalist or backyard experimenter, they offer a connection to a long line of people who depended on skill rather than disposables. This backyard trick is not just about making flame. It's about making sure you are never helpless when modern tools fail. Practice it, master it, and you will always have fire at your command. To keep learning more forgotten skills and backyard survival wisdom, make sure you subscribe to Backyard Wisdom and share this video with others who value practical, history-tested knowledge.